After turning 70, life offers a profound opportunity to embrace true peace of mind by letting go of certain emotional burdens that weigh heavily on the heart. And while these may not be visible like physical baggage, they shape our entire experience of the world and often go unnoticed for years. The first and perhaps most vital thing to release is regret, that quiet, gnawing whisper that tells us we should have chosen differently, spoken up sooner, or dared to dream bigger. Regret is a stubborn ghost, haunting the corners of our minds, replaying old tapes of missed opportunities and mistakes. Yet it serves no constructive purpose at this stage of life, because every path, every so-called wrong decision, ultimately led us to where we are today, making us wiser and more resilient. It's essential to acknowledge that our younger selves did the best they could with the knowledge and resources they had at that time. And by forgiving ourselves deeply and sincerely, we create space in our hearts for joy, gratitude, and acceptance, allowing us to savor the beauty of the present moment rather than reliving an unchangeable past. The second thing to release is the need to control everything and everyone around us, a futile effort that often begins in youth when we believe we can mold life to our exact expectations and extends into older age when we try to manage the lives of our adult children, grandchildren, or even the world around us, forgetting that control is an illusion that breeds anxiety and disappointment. By letting go of this need, we start to understand that our role is not to orchestrate every detail, but to witness and support with compassion and openness, trusting that life has its own flow and each person has their own journey to navigate. This surrender brings a liberating peace, like finally dropping a heavy suitcase we've carried for decades, leaving us free to observe the world with curiosity rather than worry, to love without conditions, and to enjoy each moment without trying to shape it into something else. The third burden to let go is resentment and old grudges, those dark seeds that take root in our hearts and grow into towering weeds, choking out our capacity for love and joy. Resentment may have felt justified at one point, a defense mechanism against hurt or betrayal. But as the years pass, it transforms into a poison that harms us more than the person who wronged us. To forgive is not to condone the wrong done, but to liberate ourselves from the prison of bitterness, to reclaim our emotional freedom and choose peace over pain. Imagine the energy reclaimed when we no longer revisit old arguments or silently replay scenarios of revenge or regret. The act of forgiveness is a gift to ourselves, a clearing of emotional clutter that allows new light and warmth to flood into our lives, letting us focus on the beauty that surrounds us rather than wounds that cannot be undone. The fourth essential release is the need for approval from others, a deeply ingrained habit that often starts in childhood when we learn to seek validation from parents, teachers, and peers, and persists into adulthood as we strive to fit in, to be liked, to avoid conflict or disapproval. After 70, it becomes clear that external validation is fleeting and ultimately unsatisfying, like chasing shadows on a wall. Our sense of worth should come from within, from knowing who we are and embracing ourselves fully, flaws and all by no longer tailoring our words, choices, and even dreams to meet the expectations of others. We gain the priceless gift of authenticity, the freedom to express our true selves without apology or fear. This authenticity attracts genuine relationships and repels superficial connections, enriching our lives with deeper, more meaningful bonds. When we let go of the craving for approval, we stop being actors on a stage performing for an audience, and instead become the authors of our own narratives, writing each chapter with courage and sincerity. Finally, the fifth thing to let go of is attachment to material possessions and the identities tied to them. For throughout life we accumulate not just objects but the stories, status, and sense of security they represent. We hold on to clothes that remind us of our youth, furniture that once symbolized success, or heirlooms that bind us to family legacies. And while these items may carry sentimental value, they can also become anchors, tethering us to a version of ourselves that no longer exists, simplifying our material lives, whether by decluttering, gifting cherished items to loved ones, or simply accepting that things are impermanent. Opens up physical and emotional space, allowing us to focus on experiences, relationships, and inner growth rather than maintenance and accumulation. This practice teaches us a profound lesson of impermanence and invites us to find fulfillment not in objects but in moments. A shared laugh, the warmth of the sun on our face, the quiet joy of a morning cup of tea. When we let go of attachments to things, we learn to live lightly, to move gracefully through life's final chapters without the heavy weight of ownership and maintenance. In releasing these 5 burdens, regret, the need to control, resentment, the need for approval, and material attachments. We step into a new phase of life defined by freedom, serenity, and deeper connections. We begin to see life not as a series of battles to be fought or trophies to be won, but as a garden to be tended, a poem to be savored, a story to be shared. And as we do this, we inspire younger generations to live more intentionally, to value presence over perfection, and to cherish love over ego. After 70, every sunrise becomes a blessing, every small joy a treasure, and every moment an invitation to simply be. By consciously letting go of these emotional weights, we can transform our later years into a time of blossoming rather than decline, of wisdom rather than regret, and of deep, abiding peace rather than restless yearning. Imagine waking up each day without the burden of old mistakes, without the futile urge to control others, without the sting of past wounds, without scanning the room for nods of approval, and without the endless upkeep of belongings. Imagine instead rising each morning with a light heart, greeting the day with curiosity and gratitude, free to explore new ideas, create new memories, and deepen the connections that truly matter. This is not merely wishful thinking, but a possibility available to anyone willing to release what no longer serves them. And though the process may be gradual, even uncomfortable at times, each step toward letting go is a step toward greater peace and freedom. So, as you move through your 70s and beyond, remember that your greatest treasures are not found in the past or in things, but in the quiet joy of the present, the love you give and receive, and the peace that blossoms when you finally allow yourself to simply be, fully, unapologetically, and joyfully yourself.